Lelouch v. Britannia. This should not have worked. Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy JSenpaiX4, and today we're doing a Senpai versus. Yes, we're doing another one of these, and it's thanks to an anime that I keep seeing all the time that everyone won't shut up about because it was so good that everyone cannot stop talking about, even though it's over a decade old. And it's like, what's going on? What is this anime that we're talking about here? And it is no other than Code Geass. This anime was a whole trip. This anime should not have even worked. It should not have worked, especially how everything was just going on and how there was so much casualties and so many things that happened in the show that this entire plan should not have worked. Now, before I go into this, I expect you to go ahead and already see Code Geass already before I get into this, because this whole review is a review about the entirety of Code Geass. Besides the movies, because I have not watched them at this point. But if you have seen Code Geass, make sure you then watch this video. If you haven't, go watch it, unless you just want to get spoiled anyway. But Code Geass is something I was not expecting. It kind of twisted my opinion on how things should be seen, in the world, like how things are black and white and usually should have a clear answer. Code Geass leaves me in kind of an unpredictable moment where I'm just kind of looking at this at a whole, as like I'm looking at it in gray instead of black and white for a clear picture. The main thing about Code Geass that I think that is the biggest concern to me is that this is a story about two ideals. One ideal is perfect justice, where you can change things on the inside and have no casualties, or two, change the world by basically doing everything that it takes, even if it means taking another person's life. And it's the two ideals of these clashing together, and that's what makes this story just make it more intense than it already is. And that's in the ideal of the killing of people that get to a better society. That is Lelouch v. Britannia's ideology, because he thinks this whole little game is nothing but chess to him, where he can just move pieces on the board, do whatever he wants, just to make sure that he does good for himself and for his little sister Nanali, which in her own right she was trying to follow the right sense of justice by not trying to have as many casualties as possible. But in the end, it would have been worse for her, because even if she did have no casualties, she will still be under control of someone else in Britannia that wanted the wrong ideal. And so sadly, I had to admit, Lelouch is kind of right, even though we can all agree that he's a straight up a-hole for all the stuff that he has done. But when it really came down to the end, Lelouch was the person to basically save everyone, even though he was a total villain through the entirety of the story. Or at least that's what the anime tries to make you think that he was. Which is honestly, if you watch it and if you watch it and really think about it, it could be either the greatest thing that has ever happened into anime history, or either the wackest thing that ever happened to anime history, depending on how you look at it. Personally, when I first saw the ending and how it went, I could not believe I was fooled. I was actually angry that I found out that that Lelouch was a good guy, that he planned this, that he just basically wanted a good life for Nunnally, and that's what's his whole goal. He didn't care anything about the Japanese people versus Britannia, even though that was a messed up concept. No, this is more about him trying to solve the problems with his little sister versus anything else. Everything else pretty much was a side bonus. It didn't matter to him because it was only for Nunnally. And if it wasn't for Nunnally, then there was really no point of fighting. He even said to himself that even if he was smart and all this, he wouldn't even use the power because there's really no point to it. Honestly, I never been so tricked by a character that to the point I couldn't even tell what he was thinking at times. Like, there was times where he was on a side of, okay, I just need to do this so I can protect Nunnally. But then there's also times where he was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna screw what the viewer thinks what I'm gonna do and just do everything else on my own, in my own way, and basically change up the game multiple times in each and every episode. So I couldn't tell you what the heck he was thinking, and honestly, that makes the show a lot more harder to pin down. And this was just making him even more of a harder character to understand, because I can't get into the mind of Lelouch. I don't know what he's gonna do in the next episode or in the last, or what's his plan throughout the entire thing. So when he came out, it just be like, yeah, I'm a hero at the end, goodbye, and dies. I was not expecting that, and I was mad. He fooled me. He fooled me and everybody else that watched this entire ending. He fooled us all, and Suzurugi helped him. Here is a picture of the promotion of Code Geass. I want you, yes you, the person that's watching this video now, to look at this picture and literally say, you lied to me, Lelouch. Do it now. I'm not joking. You better say the words. And honestly, I can go on and on about how this plot twist was one of the greatest things, in my opinion, that I ever seen in anime. But that'll be a long conversation. So let's get into something that I didn't like about the series, though, and that is personally the pacing. Because sometimes when it tells a story, it tells a story in 3 different ways. It'll tell all 3 stories all at once, and I can't tell which story is the main story I should try to keep track of. So it might be telling an A plot, B plot, and a C plot, but it always show all the plots at first, and then it just goes in and closes them all out. Like, you can still understand what's happening, but you can't understand what story you should be focusing on first. And then it'll just make a single path of what story they're gonna focus on. And honestly, I feel like if Code Geass could pace a little bit better, that would be terrific. Also, there was the whole Euphemia moment where basically Lelouch Geass had activated at the worst possible time during the Japanese special zone, and Euphemia basically killed a bunch of Japanese people for literally no reason, and it's because Lelouch's Geass went off on accident, and there was no explanation to it, and I don't really understand why it had to happen that way, but it was just one of those things in the show that you just had to accept for whatever reason. Now I feel like that was kind of disappointing on their part. They could have explained, like, maybe Lelouch's ideals was so strong that it accidentally ended up working, even though Lelouch wasn't trying to order Euphemia to kill all those people and lead it down to a path that, well, the story has to continue onward. Because Lelouch was not about to kill Euphemia at that point. He was already tight with her, but then the Geass activated on their own, and basically ruined everything. And it's not Lelouch's fault, but at the same time it kind of is. I mean, Lelouch could have just easily worded what he was gonna say. He could have worded it differently than just say, oh, for example, I could just control you by saying let's just kill the Japanese. But he could have just said, since Lelouch and Euphemia are supposed to be like lovers, why wouldn't you just say, hey, Euphemia, I could just order you to have sex with me? Like, wouldn't that save a lot of time and a lot of anxiety for you, and maybe take down a peg your freaking ego if you just say that? Hey, I just need to get laid, Euphemia smash. Like, come on, bro. You don't need to say all that. But you don't need to say, let's go murk some Japanese. Like, that's not how this works. And also, there was also that moment where C2 was like, he reached that point already, and that was made it even more vague, and I didn't really appreciate that because it just made it at like, oh, it's an accident, you have to accept this. She could have at least said something along the lines of, oh, so now it's a permanent, his Geass is now with him now, it's permanent, or something like that, to let us know that it's going to be a thing, that Lelouch has messed up, and that's a big plot point that we should all be concerned about. But they didn't do that, and it kind of just threw me off a little bit. From that point forward, there was no turning back. There was no turning back for Lelouch. There was no turning back for C2 or any of the Black Knights or Japan or the world in its entirety. So from that point forward, Lelouch had to become the villain. He had to become no longer Zero. He had to be the evil dictator that he wanted the world to believe. And he did get his way, because Suzuruki did end up killing him, and he did become the new Zero. Now, the only thing I have to wonder is Suzuruki, does he have a Geass himself now? Did Lelouch give him his Geass? Because if so, that will open up some more burdens for Lelouch personally, but I think he's willing to do the necessary things to make sure that the world stays in perfect order. And as well as for the rest of the characters, I'm fine with the way they are now. I mean, C2 doesn't want to die anymore, so she wants to live, which I'm actually happy about, because I kind of didn't want C2 to die, so I'm really more happy that she's alive and she actually does want to live. And for the amount of losses that we lost, the only person I really feel like I'm mad that we lost was Shirley, because she didn't do anything wrong. She was just that nice girl that you see all the time, and that kind of got a little into a place where you don't want her to be, but it kind of happened because story. So, and honestly, I'm kind of happy that Shirley did die, because she didn't have to see the troublesome world that Lelouch had to literally pull the world himself to bring up to utter gentleness and happiness for the sake of Nonali's sake. But it does go into the mind of Lelouch where he has to just literally sacrifice everything, even people he knows, just so he can make this perfect world for Nonali, even if it meant killing some people that he cared about. And that's kind of a sad statement, but that's how he played the game of chess, and that's how he obviously won this game. And as much as Lelouch is a hero, he still pisses me off to a point that he will sacrifice everything. So I'm still somewhat mad at him, but I'm okay with the results. And that's all Lelouch cared for, was just nothing but results. Now, I know I can't cover everything about this series like I want to, but I think this would be pretty good here. And I know I didn't cover well, what about the female characters? Oh, we will get to that, but in another video. And maybe I might make that my video for my birthday, actually, for all of you. So if you want to see that, let me know in the comments below. Or maybe I should do an episode of MILF Hunter where we talk about Lelouch's mom. So, I mean, the ball's in. We have plenty of plays we can do here. If I had to rate this series, I would give it a 9.7 out of 10. It was really good, even though I don't like the mechas, but mechas fighting and the strategy was half of the story. The more behind the scenes stuff, that was the major part of the story, not the fighting or anything like that. And even with the mechas, they made the mecha fights really entertaining. It's something I'm usually not into, but I like it. But yes, 9.7 out of 10. And to be honest, it's very close to a 10 out of 10. But it's not, because the pacing, the Euphemia moment, and it just felt off in some places when it comes to the story and how things have went and different routes it could have taken. I feel like those were necessary things to knock it down a few points, but it's not even a major loss. It's just 3 points. It's 0.3 points, so it's not really that heavy of a loss. But yes, 9.7. I totally recommend you watch Code Geass if you haven't already. It's 50 episodes in total. Let me know what character that you like out of Code Geass. Who is the best character in your opinion? And yes, we will talk about the females, but at a later date. And hopefully, or maybe Lelouch's mom. We'll see. And yeah, Code Geass was a really good trip. I'm mad that I got fooled at the end, but the anime did its job. A plan that should not have worked did. Lelouch, I tip my hat off to you. But anyway, guys, that's being your boy JSenpaiX4. Why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, share, and like. Go ahead and hit the bell notification on your way out. And please subscribe. It is crucial that everyone subscribes to this channel. We trying to make it big out here. We trying to, change the game of the anime community. We got to. So help me out so we can help each other. Alright? Good. And with that being said, this be your boy JSenpaiX4. Sign off. Have a blessed day.